Hi, so today I'm going to be sharing my top tips for preparing for your research placement. So my first tip is to come up with some goals and things that you want to achieve by the end of the placement. The first days, weeks, or even months of your placement might be quite slow because you're still learning, and so you might have a few spare hours each week. It looks really proactive if you can go to your placement supervisor and give them a few ideas of extra things you want to do whilst you're on placement. So for example, in the first few months of my placement, I filled my spare time by doing some online courses learning how to program in R, because that's just a skill that I wanted to have when I left. Not only does it mean that you're using the most of your time and your resources, but it also shows your enthusiasm to your placement supervisor. And that means that when more opportunities do come, they're more likely to point you in the right direction and support you in achieving them. Okay, so my next advice would be to not go overboard with the background reading. This may sound odd, as the most obvious advice to give to a research placement student is to do lots of reading beforehand. However, doing this may mean that you misinterpret things, get the wrong idea, make assumptions, and so when you get to your placement, you're actually limiting the amount that you can learn while you're there. You're surrounded by experts in the field who will be able to give you unique perspectives and develop your understanding in a way that you might not have been able to achieve on your own. And so it's a little bit counterproductive to do too much reading beforehand, because you'll probably learn a lot more when you get there. So just make sure that you've read a few papers, that you understand the general terms and the key things that the lab look at or the research. So just do some general reading. Read a few papers that cover the key theories or key terms that you'll need to know for the research. And then when you get there, you'll have a really good base knowledge, but you'll also be ready to develop your understanding whilst you're on placement using the resources that they have available for you. Okay, and so my last tip, and probably the most important one, is to just relax before you start your placement. I had about 3 weeks between finishing my exams and starting my first day. I went on holiday, I spent time with friends, I read books all day, I just did anything that made me happy. Because when you get to your placement, they're not expecting you to know everything already. The whole point is that you're going to learn. So just make sure that you're prepared in the sense that you know where you're going, you know what time to arrive, you've got the right things with you. But other than that, just make sure that you don't stress out. It's better to arrive recharged and in a really good mindset so that you can get good work done and that you're ready to go. So just try and relax and stay happy. So those were my top tips for starting your placement. Feel free to comment down below if you've got any questions. Just remember, it's not supposed to be a stressful experience. So the best thing that you can do before you start is to just get really excited about this awesome opportunity that you've got.